How much significance are you giving to your insignificance? That is the question I want you to ponder as I tell you a story. And as I tell you the story, what I mean by that question will become apparent to you. So there it is again. How much significance are you giving to your insignificance? Now, let me take you back. 2008, I'm in India, in Chennai, at the Oneness University. Amazing place. And there's this beautiful meditation hall. And we were learning to process emotion, to clear the energy that gets collected and held and stored within us. And so I am doing this work. And part of what they were teaching us as well was how to create our reality. And they gave us this very simple formula. And then they said, close your eyes and just, imagine seeing yourself, being successful. Like, what do you see? What are you doing? So I closed my eyes and I immediately saw myself on a stage talking to loads of people. Well, that was my worst fear. And so initially I was like, what, that? And I was like, no, surely that can't be. I couldn't think of anything worse, right? But I thought I'll play along because it was what popped into my mind, and I will keep allowing myself to see this vision. I didn't think anything of it. At the end of the week then, we've had this amazing time, and there are about 90 people at this event, international event, lots of different nationalities there. And I was in such a state of joy and euphoria. And they said, who wants to help thank the helpers? And before I knew it, I was on my feet, running to the front, and I got handed a microphone. I did not expect to get handed a microphone, and I completely froze, and I went right into my thinking mind. And my thinking mind was like, are you rubbish? Like, what are you going to say? I don't know what to say. They're all going to think I'm stupid. They're all going to laugh at me. I just need to get this microphone out my lips fast. And then think. And I just then said something really rubbish. I said something like, oh, the helpers have all been really amazing. Thanks very much. Bye. Like, get that microphone out of my hand. Get me out of this spotlight ASAP. I walked off. And there was this lovely Irish guy there, and I can't do an Irish accent, so I won't ruin it. But he just said to me, great speech, Wend. And what I had been learning was, how do you just stay with your feelings, don't go into your thinking, just stay with your feelings, and that the liberation is there, right? So I didn't say a word, and I stayed with my feelings, and I felt so uncomfortable. And what I realized was, wow, I didn't actually experience that. I was so busy in the thinking mind that I didn't experience the moment at all. And there is my first little pointer to you of what is insignificant. That tiny little self that feels afraid and worried and unworthy is an idea that we have, and it is a tiny idea. It is a small self. It is an insignificant self. I know it seems huge, because it seemed huge to me right then, but it is an insignificant self. And I will continue the story to highlight how to you and how you can see that. Anyway, I then, at that event, I realised I didn't get to experience it, and so we came back in, and I got the microphone again through kind of saying that I wasn't okay. And I just said, I just want to ask for your help. And I hadn't thought about what I was going to say. And I said, I just want to ask for your help. Something happened, and I had the opportunity to experience something, and I didn't. And it's this, being in front of a group of people. And I looked around at them all, and they were all smiling at me so beautifully, and it felt so wonderful. And I said, oh, and actually that feels really lovely. Thank you very much. Gave the microphone back, and I hadn't thought about what I was going to say. And then at the end, the lovely Irish chap came up to me and he said, great speech, Wend. When are you going to take up public speaking? And I thought, never. Because it still seemed like my worst fear. Now, this is no word of a lie. I got home back to the UK. Within a week, I had a phone call from a medical company. So when I had a near-death experience, and I had the flesh-eating disease. So it got into my womb, so I lost my womb and ovaries, about 2/3 of the flesh on my torso. And I lost so much flesh there over my bowel that I had to have a piece of pig skin put in to seal my bowel in place, before they then very cleverly took a piece of my thigh, my left thigh, and put it up over my stomach. So I have this piece of pig skin. Praise the pigs, right? Thank you for that compatibility. But the phone call was from the medical company, and they said, would you be willing to come and do a talk for our staff? We would really love for them to hear your story, because obviously for them it's like, wow, this has transformed this person's life, because without that I probably wouldn't have been able to sit up, move around. It would have been a very different story, right? So I said, yeah, sure. Anyway, I got off the phone and I felt a little bit nervous, but I thought, well, actually, I can't get it wrong. You know, like in school, that always makes you feel awful, doesn't it? I thought, I can't get it wrong. I'm just sharing my story. And, you know, okay, I'll do it. And I kind of got some of the slides together and I put together this little talk, just some slides. And I thought I'll practice on the way up my talk. So on the way up, I didn't get to practice my talk because I'm chatting to the driver who was driving me up. Amazing conversation. We get to the place and they showed me around the factory, which started with a pig in the freezer. And my gratitude just grew and grew and grew. And when I'd been in India and I'd done that real faff of a thing and couldn't get the microphone out of my hand fast enough and I felt awful, I remember thinking, oh, I wanted to, you know, inspire, and I wanted to make people laugh, and I wanted to make people cry, and I wanted to have some impact, not just this crappy nothingness. Anyway, I tell you that because then I was so filled with gratitude. I just shared my story with the slides. I spoke right from my heart. There was no thought of little me. There was no, what are they going to think? Am I good enough? It's like, it was a fearless experience because I was just brimming with gratitude, and I just wanted them to know how grateful I was for the transformation that they'd made to my life. So it was all about them and nothing to do with me. And this is what I mean of like the significance of us is like, we are source itself. We are this amazing energy. We are love. We are presence, and that can pour forth through us. And yet often we are operating out of our insignificance. We are operating from the little voice inside that tells us that we're not good enough. So consider it. Take it away, this question. How much significance are you giving to your insignificance? How much are you keeping yourself small instead of being your true, beautiful, bountiful, brilliant soul self? So much love from me to you. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.